Welcome everybody to a story as old as time. You are most likely human, so you most likely have some challenges with motivation. This part, chapter 1 from book 1, is all about motivation. And let us just dive right in. So I want to discuss two things today. The first one is about the inner battle between your monkey mind and your higher being. And the second is about the currency that they both get paid in, dopamine. Yeah, so two things. First one up, monkey. We all have a limbic system in the back of our brain, which has been there since we originated as species, and it allows us, or it enables us to survive. It is your fight and flight system, so to say. It's fight and flight, and it's also the one that craves for sugar, craves for social attention, the fame, fortune, applause version. Yeah, it was very convenient to have when you had to run for saber-toothed tigers, or when you lived in a community and when you got kicked out of that community, that might have killed you. But nowadays we are gradually transcending to a different type of mind, which is the prefrontal cortex, the higher being. So the past few decades, this front end of your brain, so to say, the third eye in some cultures, has been exponentially growing, especially compared when you with our past few centuries, so to say. Partially due, of course, to digital technologies as well. So internet, AI, all etc. all enables us to grow the front end of our brains way faster. So this part is your higher being, the one that makes the better decisions, your decision filter, so to say. And this one is your social, your limbic system, the survival mode. This is rest and digest mode. So the calmness, joy, peace, freedom state of being. This is the fight and flight mode. And they often are in conflict with each other. So that all depends on how you look at it. They can be in conflict, they can be in war, but they can also be cuddling and they can be friends. So you can also befriend both versions. That's best for the balance, so to say, but it's very important to realize that that's a personal preferences. So some make an opponent out of their monkey mind, and the others, somebody else might befriend their monkey mind. I personally switched from enemy to friend nowadays. So monkey and I, we go good nowadays. I love my monkey. It's a bit cheeky at moments though. So these two things, these two parts of your brain are in conflict, and that means that your prefrontal cortex tells you to go in bed early or to do some sports or to do whatever, and the monkey says, no, Ben and Jerry, chips, movie time. That's basically the battle happening. Okay, so the challenges with motivation stems partially from this battle. Yeah, so that's part 1. And we will get way more back into details in later phase. Part 2, however, is dopamine, also on a biological level. So I'm talking about motivation on a biological level at the moment. You also have spiritual levels and emotional levels and mental levels. But for now, let's stick to us as biological beings. So dopamine. Your brain makes dopamine, and we are dopamine-driven creatures. So when we get a lot of dopamine, we are highly motivated. When our dopamine is drained, we get demotivated. We tend to procrastinate. So allow me to use an example of Andrew Huberman. I will share the original podcast, which is a bit lengthy, but very interesting, of 2 hours in the show notes, so to say. Okay, so this he calls the dopamine pool. And you want to keep this as deep as you can. You can train this. This is your baseline, and you want to get this as high as you can, because as higher this gets, the deeper the pool becomes. You can increase the dopamine, so your motivation, by, for example, sleep well, by getting sunlight as soon as possible in your eyes. Also nutrition. Let me check. Nutrition. And then you have to aim for tyrosine-based foods, which means nuts, fish, beef, pork, lamb, but also soy, cheese. But if you Google, you will get some hits. Also, yoga nidra is an example he mentioned, which is non-sleep deep rest exercises. I will also share the link from Huberman in the show notes. This is basically you lying on a couch, feeling or mentally shifting your focus through your body. So focusing on your toes all the way up to your to the tip of your brain, so to say, and exercises. So in short, these are the usual suspects. So if you like cover these basics, then you increase your baseline, and often you can go deeper with motivation, which is just common sense, of course, because if you sleep well, you often tend to make better decisions, you are more motivated. Logical, right? Here comes a hack. That's cold exposure. Cold exposure increases your dopamine for several hours, 4 to 6 hours. And cold means being uncomfortable. So you can do an ice bath plunge, but assuming you don't have an ice bath at home or a big river next to your house, you can also take a very cold shower as long as it's uncomfortable. So you really do not want to go into that. And that's very personal. For somebody, it can be a length issue. For somebody else, it can be a cold issue. So try to get as cold and as long as you can. But normally 30 seconds to 2 minutes would suffice. So cold exposure is another hack. That's my first message about dopamine. The second message is about these peaks, so to say, and these downs. After each wave, a down comes. So you don't want too many waves in your pool because the water will splash out on all sides. So you will lose dopamine. When you're very unstable in your dopamine, you get up and down, up and down. Not only is not a cool state of being, like feeling very euphoric, feeling down. It's like you don't want to be there. So try to be balanced. And I want to focus on balance, or I will focus on balance in future videos. But now you realize also for your dopamine, it's a good thing. So after a peak comes a down. You want to keep these downs as short as possible. It's already very convenient to know that if you wait, you will get back to your baseline. So if you feel down, do these basic things and you will get back to your balance. Try to control the peaks and your downs will be less and less as well. So how do you shorten these downs, and how do you shorten the length of the downs, and how do you decrease the height of the peak so that you have lower splashes, so to say? You still get all the energy and activity that's needed for the activity. So peaks are created by two things. It's one, anticipation, and the second one is expectation. So what you expect versus reality. Okay, so Huberman uses the example of ordering a sandwich. Imagine you walking towards the store, anticipating eating a lovely sandwich. When you anticipate, you're already starting up in the line. So anticipation brings dopamine. So you heading towards your phone to check the amount of likes that you have is anticipation, or you wanting to set a personal record in sports, etc. So when reality hits in, so you received the sandwich, you took a few bites, you ate it, etc. If it was great, if it was the best sandwich ever, you increase in peak. Yeah, if you set a personal record, if you have 1,000 likes where you expected 10, whatever, you get higher in your dopamine peak. If it's less, so less likes, for example, or a shitty sandwich, then you go into your down. If it's more, then you have a average peak. Okay, so to get out of this is to become aware of this process. And I will teach you how to do awareness in later phases. It's a bit much for one video. But awareness means like, okay, realize that this is a process. Know, feel the anticipation. You walking towards the phone, you already feel the back of your brain like lighting up. Okay, oh wow, I'm going to check likes. How many likes do I have? Or whatever your dopamine hits requires from you. Then realize the anticipation building up, and then the reality when you check, for example, your amount of likes or the quality of the sandwich. Realize that when it's less, know that your brain is screwing around with this dopamine. Okay? So when you become more aware, the impact, the power it holds on you becomes less, because your higher being is behind the driving wheel and not your dopamine-driven monkey. Okay? So your lower peaks. Thirdly, you want to get up faster. And this is not a message that most of you will like, because this requires diving into your pain, becoming uncomfortable in the uncomfortable. So pain or uncomfort is the reward. So not the sandwich, no, becoming uncomfortable. Not only do you learn to do the hard things, but this means when you are in a shitty state of being. For me, for example, on Sunday mornings when I'm overflown with kids and I had a very busy week and a cool Saturday evening for them, and I got high and I got on my high. I do not get high. I get the dopamine high in this case. Then the down sometimes comes at a Sunday morning when I'm less stable. Also, alcohol and drugs and all these things create these dopamine spikes, especially cocaine. They bring quick spikes in a very short amount of time, and they're very high. But the more frequently you use these substances, the more and more you need to get to the same previous high. It's all explained in the Huberman podcast. Okay, so back to getting through your uncomfort. This means that you need to have a set of activities that are safe to do, but that you really do not want to do in a body and mind challenge. So for example, if you already thought like, cold exposure, I do not want to take a cold shower, then you know where your pain is. If you do not want to do sports, trigger sports. For some, it's meditation. In general, meditation does not increase your dopamine unless you are uncomfortable as shit with it. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to swear, so it might be bleeped. But realize that you need to search for this uncomfort, and then you become comfortable in this realm, and you move back sooner towards your state. In short, you want to put your body and mind in a more shitty state than you are already in. So for me, that's sometimes doing cold showers, sometimes it's doing burpees or core exercises, whatever I really, really, really do not want to do, but that my higher being know, okay, this is good for you. And also you remove less power from dopamine and more towards Baby Yoda. So final remark, know that it's a battle of dopamine, and that if you're not aware, so awareness is key. If you're not aware, you've got all these dopamine opponents draining you. Think about phones, tablets, and other things that give you dopamine, some foods. I tend to advise not to eat after 7, nor use devices after 8, because then you create these spikes, and also it has several other downsides. But you don't want to go to sleep with a huge spike because you hit your deep sleep in a less well fashion, nor do you want to wake up with a dopamine spike. If you feel shitty in the morning, if you do not feel motivated, you now know what to do. But Other than having the power of dopamine, there are way more tricks that I want to teach you. For example, the power of now. But I think this already became quite a lengthy video, so the power of now will be in a second video. On behalf of our monkey, Baby Yoda and Ganesh, have a great day. Hopefully see you in the next session. Bye bye.